Greetings everybody, Rainwalker Winter Painter here with episode 2 of Rainwalker Talks. This is Rainwalker Decides. In today's episode we'll talk about how Rainwalker did listen. I listened. How to maybe change our relationship with failure, and then I just wanted to talk a little bit about the process, the daily process of public service here. So, good evening, my fellow citizens. It is Wednesday, August 19th of 2020, and today we do have a Colorado avalanche of talk to talk about together, but all we can really do is make a start and then keep going. Much of our work together will have to be distributed across future days. Here with you from my little video recording studio in Vergennes, Vermont, and I wanted to point out how this is basically a $250 setup, including the computer which is being used to record this video. So basically any American with a job could afford this. The same setup here. I'm using an Amazon high-definition tablet. This is a $40 American flag here from a hardware store, and then the other background is a $15 drying rack and some Dollar General navy blue towels. So I think that I love to emphasize the fact that anybody can participate, and that if you're willing to sort of be a little bit awkward in public sometimes and actually go through the learning journey, that you too can become part of the political operations of this free democracy here. So we're going to talk today about what happened at my Rainwalker Listened event. We're going to set up another campaign event, which is at this point tomorrow. I've been announcing it in print through a local electronic newsletter, but it will be tomorrow evening, Thursday, August 20th. Looks like I do have a permit to gather in the Vergennes City Park, and it looks like also we'll be able to obtain some sound amplification, so we will be able to both attend and participate politically, but also remain physically distanced in order to fight the spread of coronavirus. Oh, I did already announce the third platform plank too in print. So the third platform plank is I'm going to deal with Donald Trump in a few weeks here. I know a lot of people are very anxious about all these things, but the first two platform planks, which are mathematical literacy and citizen participation, are really important. And like I said in print, you know, action is the answer to anxiety. So we have plenty to work on without worrying about the national stuff, at least in our little city, at least for now. So it is my pleasure to announce that based upon receiving the clear support of about 2% of the electorate, I have decided that it's my honor to be available for election to the office of Vergennes Alderman for the short term ending in March of next year. So that's a little bit more than 5 months, because the special election is September 22nd, and I guess that we'll be electing a new alderperson at the town meeting in March of next year. So yeah, 5 or 6 months at most. Yeah, it's just important that, you know, what that signals is not really that I have support of people, it's that I have interest enough that we should turn it over to the voters to decide, okay? In fact, I hope that everyone will refrain from offering any kind of endorsement about me personally until at least you have heard about the scandal and controversy part of the campaign. When I first released Rainwalker Talks episode 1, I sort of listed off a bunch of steps for a political campaign. And I guess I have that list right here, so we're going to take a look. The first one was I was just going to listen, and that's what I did more than a week ago now on a Saturday afternoon. This is the announcement, and then tomorrow evening I'll be introducing myself, or reintroducing myself for a lot of us, as well as offering a few more, most of the campaign platform planks that have already come to mind. And then after that, it's good to sort of get an idea of what the scandalous and controversial things about a candidate are. After that, I hope to maybe hold only 1 or 2 other solo events, and the rest of any events that I would hold in public as a city council candidate, I would hope would be attended by other candidates, whether it's a discussion or some kind of a debate. And we luckily do have a couple weeks here still to work with before the election where those debates or discussions in public could happen. And usually we will have good enough weather during that time that it could all come together for us, which I think would be cool. All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about what happened at Rainwalker Listens. I think this is one of the reasons it's taken me so long to put this video together, is I'm really a little bit overwhelmed, not only by how much content there is that needs to be sort of rolled out, but also by who came to this event. So I had published in our electronic newsletter that I would listen to citizens in the park a week or 2 ago now for a couple hours, and people did come, which was delightful but surprising. And so here's what happened. Here's what happened. The 8 adults that came were all married. People from 3 different towns came. People who were born in at least 3 different nations attended. We spoke at least 2 different languages at the event. So these are all hallmarks that I have personally connected with the people who I guess are my base, and most, I guess, flattering, but also important was that the three of the families who came had young children. Okay, and so this is interesting to me because I think a lot of people know that I'm usually far right of the Vermont population in some of my views, and yet people I think are still trusting me to be a public servant, and that's just wow. It just makes me nervous, actually. The fact that the engine room of our society, the people who are running stable households and raising young children, are coming to me across disagreement. It's just wow. It's a big deal. It's a little bit intimidating, to be honest with you. So I'll do the best that I can in public here on behalf of everybody, even though I do think I'm more of a leader and less of an amplifier. There's nothing wrong with being in the class of public servants who will advocate for what people think they want. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I don't think I'll be doing that. I think if elected, it will be clear to voters that I'm going to be different, I think, from the current momentum of a lot of our society. I really disagree significantly with a lot of people on the left, and I cannot have any allies with the current people on the right, at least who are mostly in office. So that puts me in a strange position, by the way. All right. I just wanted to actually show you some of the forms here that I've gone through, just so that we can all talk a little bit about the process of public service here. Right here, I wanted to show you, first of all, this is my permit for the Rainwalker Listens event here. Let's see if I can get this in front of the camera with some good lighting here. This is a form you can just go and pick up in City Hall in Vergennes. And I just filled out the details. And what you'll notice here is that the city manager actually changed my projected time. Okay, so I should point out, actually, first of all, that the city staff actually recommended I have a permit when I didn't think I needed one. All right, so in terms of the process of public service, it's a conversation and a negotiation, and I didn't get what I wanted right starting out front. That's just interesting. So I had to yield to the advice of people who are more seasoned in some of these areas. And then the city manager actually changed my event. Okay, so why? Well, I asked for 2 to 4 p.m., but there was another event in the park at 4, and the city manager was strong enough to say, okay, listen, there's got to be a barrier here. Guess what happened at 3:30? Okay, first of all, people did come to my event, and we were in the middle, the thick of conversation, and at 3:30, the next event had come to began to set up. Okay, so the right move by Manager Hoffman, and that's what it's going to be, is we have to sort of give and take in a lot of ways. Here also is my official form for consent of candidate. This just means I'm going to appear on the ballot. It is known to me that in other offices you actually have to signal your intent to accept office. I don't know if this is the implicit consent form of accepting office, but for example, I actually tried to run as a write-in candidate against the abortionist in Denver, Colorado for Congress, and none of the votes which came to me counted because I had not signaled to the Secretary of State in an official form that I would accept office. So none of the votes counted. That was kind of a shocker, even though I had visited the Secretary of State's office many times. So you live and you learn, I guess. But I'll be on the ballot as Rainwalker Winter Painter for that 5-month term. Finally, here's another permit. This is another permit to hold the Reintroducing Rainwalker event. This is tomorrow evening. And again, simple enough to fill it out. There have been many events already in City Park with pretty much the same setup as I'm intending for tomorrow evening. So I think it was pretty straightforward for the city manager to grant that one as well. On that note, before I see you tomorrow, I just want to remind everybody, please wear your masks, stay physically distant from each other, even though socially I like to think of us as being near because we're all in the same place for the same purpose. It's a public event tomorrow, so as I have said in print, I expect that everyone there will be expecting to be videotaped in public, and if you would like to meet with me privately or virtually, with questions or for me to announce my candidacy or introduce myself, I will do that privately, where either nobody will be videotaped or just I would be the only one actually on camera, that kind of thing. Also tomorrow evening is about me reintroducing myself. This is my background, where I'm coming from, why I'm offering my service, and then I'll offer the campaign platform planks, specifically because I will be offering other events about the controversy and maybe other statements online about certain topics. We're going to stay focused on just my background and the city council campaign platform. So I'll entertain questions, but if they're too far off topic, I may say, well, let's meet again at a different time to discuss those things. But I will answer. I will be responsive before the election for areas of concern, because I know a lot of people are excited to talk about Donald Trump. A lot of people are excited about talking about the police reform and the allegations of racism. And I know other people are probably going to be interested in talking more about whatever scandalous things I have in my past, and there are some. So thanks for your attention today, and for Wednesday, August 19th of 2020. Rainwalker has spoken, and Rainwalker out. Thanks very much.